Welcome to the very first Obcast, the official podcast of Sherwood Observatory. My name is Joe Gathercole and I'm just one of your podcast hosts. My job is to pry information for you, the listener, from your two other, more informed hosts. They are Brendan Scoular, the Observatory's Open Events and Course Coordinator, and Rob Dawes, the Chairman and Groups Visits Coordinator. Are they both correct?
They are absolutely both correct, Joe.
Hello, Joe. They are indeed. We are both trustees.
How are you both, and are you ready for our audio adventure?
Yeah, doing very well.
Absolutely, let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our first one, and it's a Friday evening. Let's do it.
And we're very pleased to be here.
There's no cake, but we'll crack on.
Maybe later. I have briefly introduced you both there, but would you mind quickly telling us about yourselves and specifically about your roles you have here at the Observatory?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. Yeah, as you said, I'm Brendan, trustee of Sherwood Observatory, and my remit is really to oversee the logistics of all the events on-site and off-site and cover the night school programme that we run on an annual basis. So that's what I really do in a nutshell, really. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but I'm sure we can expand on that later.
Yeah. And Rob?
Hi, Joe. My name's Rob. I'm the current serving chairman of Mansfield and Sutton Astronomical Society. My other role is Group Visits Coordinator. I arrange all the visits to the observatory for the uniform visits, Scouts, Beavers, U3As, that sort of thing. And like I said, as Brendan says, trustee of Sherwood Observatory. Just putting the astronomy out into the local community so they have a better understanding and enjoyment of all things astronomical.
Excellent. You mentioned group visits, including school groups, I'm assuming, and like you said, Beavers. What kind of a show do we kind of put on for them? What do we do to kind of capture their minds while they're here so they kind of hopefully get enticed to fall for astronomy and come back?
Well, that's a good question, Joe. Yeah, when the visits turn up at the observatory, our job is to inspire these young minds, to encourage them to embrace astronomy, because astronomy can be a lifelong friend for the whole duration of their life. And they like to know everything about planets, the sun, constellations, stars, the life and death of stars. And that goes exactly the same for the adult visits as well. There's such an appetite out there for all things astronomical. There's just a willingness to learn as much as possible about it. Like I said, we're charged here at the observatory to inspire young and not so young minds.
And do you find groups that come are usually quite questioning?
Well, we do encourage questions. Every time I reply to inquiries about the visits, I do emphasise the times, what we have allocated, which is about 90 minutes. But I do say that's always dependent on the questions that are asked, and we do encourage questions. I like to get the groups involved in it so they feel part of what's happening during that night. And it's surprising exactly how much the youngsters do know as well. So, yeah, they certainly keep you on your toes.
They'd probably put me to shame, to be fair. Brendan, as Open Events and Course Coordinator, you play a pivotal role in the Society's outreach programme. Could you expand on what type of open events and courses we have?
Yeah, sure. So, the events programme at Sherwood Observatory is really a means for us to showcase our capabilities to the general public, basically, and inspire minds of all ages that come up here. And I think we do that particularly well with a pretty much bespoke facility we've got. And we do have quite an extensive array of activities for the public to be entertained with, and I like to think that's always growing and increasing over time. And as you can see this year, we're adding extra things to the events programmes like face painting for kids. But in the large, yes, we do offer rolling lectures. There's opportunities to view astronomical objects in the night sky. Yeah, so the site is really geared up to allow families to have a pretty much a good time, really, and absorb everything that's astronomical related, be it daytime or in the evening. And that's what we deliver best at Sherwood Observatory, and that really does show in the feedback we get from online reviews on Google and TripAdvisor. Yeah.
Excellent. Sounds like we're doing a lot to really get people to come in and have a good time and keep coming back. I know we want to keep these episodes short and sweet, just a few minutes, but packed with information. But I have to ask, though, in our first ever episode, could you give us an overview of the observatory, maybe some details on the brilliant telescope upstairs that's housed there, and if you can, just a slight brief history of the observatory?
Okay, the Society's 51 years old. We've still got some of the original founding members, and was graced by two of them visiting this Wednesday, Dave Collins and Gordon Jones. Gordon Jones was the actual builder of our main 24-inch Newtonian reflecting telescope, which is housed in the dome upstairs. And Gordon built this from scratch, and fellow trustees from that point on have been charged with maintaining it, upgrading it, and keeping it in as good a condition as possible. And just this summer, we're all upgrading the mirror cells for it, which is a major improvement, which will allow us to do much more work with it and give us more resolution. Should be able to do some science as well with it, which is a great opportunity. We do encourage people to come and visit the observatory as often as possible, because that's, in a nutshell, what we like to do. We like to get involved with the members of the public to come up here. And not only that, we've got a Radio Astronomy Centre running as well, which has just recently been installed with a meteor detection beacon, the only one in the United Kingdom, which is a great honour for our society. So again, we'll be able to do science with it. I'm going to pause because I don't want to hog everything.
No, absolutely, he was doing well. But there's one thing to add. It's like the decor of the society is pretty much of the times it was built. I mean, the lecture room we're sitting at the moment doing this Obscast is pretty much of the 70s, really. Around us, we've got that typical wooden panelling from floor to ceiling, which is very typical of the 70s, really.
I quite like it.
I do like it. It's got character.
Absolutely. It gives you an understanding of where we came from.
Yeah.
And we must remember, it was the original founding members had to do this all on their own through just their sheer willpower and their inventiveness to borrow and acquire materials to build the actual lecture room, the telescope.
Yeah. It does. It gives it warmth, doesn't it, the wooden panelling? To be honest with you, I don't think anybody's dared paint over it.
No.
Well, I've heard stories of people finding bricks next to our building sites to help build the dome. Like you say, it was just a do-it-yourself thing, and it's great. It's amazing. It looks great, and it's still here.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic effort by all the original founding members and all the volunteers to actually build the place. It's just it's very difficult to get your head around it, exactly what they've done all those years ago, and how it's just getting bigger and better as the years move on. And for what these original members did, it just really helps you want to do the best you possibly can to move the society forward as a whole.
The observatory is home to MSAS, the Mansfield and Sutton Astronomical Society, and we are all members, as I'm guessing some of our listeners might be. For those of the listeners that aren't already members, if there are any listening, what benefit is there to joining the society other than great people, interesting conversation and cake?
The social aspect is one key element to the society that is actually really quite good. I mean, I know of a few other astronomical societies dotted about I've been to on and off, but we do rather well on the social side, which is key, I think. It's integral to, it bonds everybody together, which means we do have a better time, if not observing, socially out of the observatory as well, for observatory meals, drinks stand local.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on there, Brendan. It's got a great warmth and openness and friendliness about the society. We welcome everybody, down to the society. It doesn't matter who you are, how much understanding you have of what's up in the sky. Everyone here is welcome.
Absolutely.
And you're just encouraged to do and just enjoy astronomy. And I think when you're in that sort of setup with like-minded members and who become friends over time, because they've all got the same desire to enjoy and explore and understand as much as possible, and it just pulls you along, wants to get in there and do stuff.
Yeah, it's certainly vital. We are welcoming to all walks of life, really, through the door, and we see that and we embrace them, and we take them under our wing, and they like us, and hopefully they'll stay with us.
Well, I'm a fairly new member. I say that it was 2020, it's 2022 now, but it feels like I'm still a new member because we were in lockdown. I really enjoyed the lectures with Zoom talks, and the lectures are great. Obviously, a benefit of joining up. I think it's £48 a month, which I think Rob will say is less than £1 a week.
You're absolutely right, Joe. Less than £1 a week is an absolute bargain. It is. And you're right that it was. Thankfully, we've come out of this last 2 difficult years. But I think really looking back at the lockdown situation, again, it's typical of our society. We've embraced that and we've actually made the society better. We're doing our blended meetings. with our society talks, for example, where members who can't get down to the obs for whatever reason can still join in, enjoy the lectures from eminent speakers that we have once a month. We've got now a growing library of absolutely top quality lectures from these eminent speakers. Again, that's all through lockdown. We've embraced difficult situation and turn it to our advantage, which can only be good. And that's MSAS in a nutshell.
And just to point out, all those lectures are actually on our YouTube channel.
Absolutely, Brendan, where it's all open to the society members and the wider general public.
Well, we've talked a little bit about the observatory's past. We've discussed what we have and do here at the Sherwood Observatory site at present, but let's talk about the future a little bit. We have some developments coming up, and I know how excited you both are, as we all are, about the future of the observatory. So could you both just tell us everything you can, with the short time we have left, about the society's future and plans on the site?
Absolutely right, Joe. We're on the threshold of great things for the society. In recent years, the society bought a parcel of land adjacent to our observatory, and under this land is a Victorian reservoir, 1884, I believe, which served and delivered water to the surrounding areas. Well, the opportunity arose where we could buy this reservoir. So what we're doing, we're not knocking it down, we're converting it and repurposing it to a state-of-the-art science discovery centre and planetarium. So we're going to convert this underground Victorian reservoir into a state-of-the-art science discovery centre. And this will only enhance our already formidable outreach events for the society, with whether it's uniform visits, open events, solar events, and school visits. And if you've been into this reservoir and you see the vaulted ceiling, it is absolute. It's like a cathedral. It is just magnificent. And we're going to be taking this Victorian design and incorporating it with a state-of-the-art planetarium. It'll be nothing like this in the East Midlands. It'll be groundbreaking and a must-see and an attraction to be proud of. Yeah. It will take us forward for many years.
It's a brilliant design concept that's being put forward right at this moment. In fact, the business case has just recently been submitted to Ashfield District Council, and that's under review by those and their consultants at the moment. So these are really exciting times, and that is such a massive document that's gone to them at the moment. But yeah, as Rob was saying, there's nothing quite like this in the East Midlands. In fact, just to push it further, there's nothing quite like this around the UK. It is very much a bespoke sort of facility that we're actually generating in front of our eyes here, simply because we've got a Victorian reservoir with a planetarium that's going to be on top of it. That's going to be a 60-seater. I believe it's going to be a 60-seater. Is that right, Rob?
Absolutely, yeah. 60, 65 seats.
Yeah, about there. It's going to have digital projectors in there, which is going to make the night sky appear on a dome ceiling, which is going to be magnificent. So if it's cloudy, we don't need to worry about that. We can sit in the planetarium and look at the night sky at any time of the day.
Yeah, well, it's certainly going to enhance the school visits, isn't it, Rob?
Absolutely, Joe. And like I say, to add on to that, we're going to have a radio astronomy garden with all the different arrays positioned, so where we can look at the sun, that sort of thing, and take and do science, from the sun and Jupiter. So it's going to be a fantastic science discovery centre. There is nothing like it. There is planetariums around, but to have an observatory, a radio astronomy centre, a science discovery centre and planetarium all on one site, that's a fantastic achievement. And I think MSAS and its members can be rightly proud of this. It will be a great benefit for the wider community.
Well, it sounds like a very optimistic future for MSAS, for the observatory and for the general public in the area. But before we finish tonight, if it's okay with you two, I'd just like to run through the events that are still to happen in June.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Of course, if you're a member of the society, there's the weekly Wednesday night members evening / cake extravaganza. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there's a public open day on the 25th.
There certainly
All
is.
are welcome, but please book in advance because it books up quick, doesn't it, Brendan?
It does more for the general public, really, but we're doing not too bad on the member front to get them up on the stalls and running the facilities.
So we need volunteers.
We do, actually. Yeah.
Always need volunteers.
If you're not a member and you want to book, go to sherwood-observatory.org.uk or find us on Facebook. Are we on Instagram and Twitter?
We are.
Yes.
Yes, we are quite active on that now.
Excellent. And on the 28th of June, members of MSAS are invited to the monthly society lecture, but I believe the speaker's still to be confirmed.
That is correct, yeah.
It is, yes, on this one.
It'll be someone great anyway, I'm guessing. So come to that. Right, thank you for joining us for the first ever episode. Thank you to Rob and Brendan for bringing the knowledge. We'll see you next month, hopefully for a July edition of the Obscast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Obscast, the official podcast of Sherwood Observatory. I've been Joe Gathercole. With me today were Rob Dawes and Brendan Scoular. Special thanks to the Tower of Light for producing our theme tune, and I will see you soon for our next episode.